And 96 here, just by putting his hands on the back and forcing the long snapper down, that is a 15-yard penalty. And they've stressed that this
would have been the final play of the game. Colts are going to try a 60-yarder that would beat the Broncos. They're down by 2. Schrader had been perfect on the day, but it's a high leverage moment. It's 60-yard field goal.
60-yard field goal, yeah.
And here we go. So I'm going to play it through, Nick, and then we're going to run it back. But so here it is. The Broncos, they're lining up, and the kick is up. And then there it is. Their celebration. They're happy. But whoa, wait a minute. This other angle, you're going to see this referee in the bottom right. See that flag flying?
Oh, yeah.
And there it goes. And what happens? Personal foul leverage situation, Nick, which you'll explain. The personal foul moves it up 15 yards. Schrader gets redemption. Colts win the game 29-28 and improve to 2-0. But, Nick, let's go back to maybe then. Is this a good angle to start it from?
This is a perfect angle right here. Yep.
Okay, so walk us through a little bit right here.
So earlier in the year during training camp, all the refs are doing their rounds. You get different crews coming through your camp. We had like 3 or 4 different crews. A point of emphasis for this season was this exact play, protection of the long snapper and leverage. So basically what that means is leverage is when the defensive player puts their hands on the backs of an offensive player. And in this case, you can see, I think it ends up being 96 when he shuffles over to the right side. And he basically two hands the back of the long snapper, pulls him down and forward. So you're allowed to, what they've started doing now is you're allowed to swipe. Like, for instance, we saw last year in the Denver game, the Kansas City Chiefs guy swiped the guard's hand that was on the ground, causing him to fall forward. And then they were able to get the block to win the game. In this case, 2 hands on the back is leverage and also the pulling through of it. But leverage is a personal foul penalty. You don't see it quite as much on the inside, like on a long snapper. Usually you see it like what would be 99 on the tackle. They would try to get him down and bring that guy through the C gap, put stress on the end. But basically this is, they're trying to get 92 up and over to try to block the punt, because on a 60-yard field goal, got to hit the ball lower to get the ball to travel. So the apex of the ball is going to be lower at the line of scrimmage. So guys are going to be able to get up and get their hands on it. And so in this case, that's what it looks like they're trying to do with 92, and what we would call he's the leaper in this situation. And he's trying to be the one to jump up and block it. And 96 here, just by putting his hands on the back and forcing the long snapper down, that is getting leverage, and that is a 15-yard penalty. And they've stressed that this year, that they are the guy in the back. I think it's the dude on the right side. His job is to watch the long snapper. They said that point of emphasis this year was head and neck contact with the long snapper, lining up inside the long snapper's body, or like basically you can't crowd the A gap on a field goal. You have to be basically in a 2. They're pretty aggressive with the 2-eye, which for those that don't know, a 2-eye is an inside shade on the guard. And 2 is a head up basically on the guard. And so they're trying
right there. Like, look right there, Nick.
Yeah.
I think
he's clearly, 96 is clearly on top, using his body to pull him down with his hands on his back. That is not allowed. And even 92 looks like he has a hand on the back of the guard right there. I can't see from this angle, but it looks like his left hand is down to try to aid him in his jumping. So if you're going to do the jump, it's what Myles Garrett does. You have to jump completely over. If you're the guy jumping, you cannot make contact with the back of anybody with your hands. You can accidentally, like if your foot kicks him, that is acceptable, but you can't jump. And then if your feet are on him, try to stand up on top of them. That is also leverage as well.
I just hope that long snapper's okay. That's a lot of force.
He's a tough kid, man. That's Luke Rhodes. He's a really good long snapper, really tough guy. He's got a lot of muscles, so I think he'll be all right. The problem is, like, there's nothing that any of us could do. It doesn't matter. That defensive lineman's probably, 330, 340, and he's probably strong as an ox. There's absolutely nothing we can do to stop it, and that is why the referees are becoming more aggressive with these calls, because we've seen it happen, not necessarily this exact play, but we've seen a lot of guys try to expose the long snapper because the size advantage that the defense gets in the A gap. Yeah, you see him right there pulling up. That's personal foul. Yeah, so that's perfect angle. I mean, the way he's also another penalty is when the defense pulls. I think I said it a minute ago. When the defense pulls any body part from an offensive player forward, which is what he's doing here as well. That is also a 15-yard penalty.
So then and there, Nick, this is the play that the Broncos were going to go back being 2-0 instead. This is how it ends. And, like, of course, throughout the games, everyone's going to say, hey, it doesn't come down to a last play. Like, we had so many other times that it could. Well, in this case, because both teams make mistakes, whammy, you execute the first time. Yeah, you're 2-0, but the Colts then, Schrader gets to take a second. I'll be honest. I don't think he was making that regardless of if they were. I don't think that was going to –
that wasn't
that
going
ball
in.
Was –
Wait, yeah, it was right. Wasn't it wide? It was pretty far right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this ball is – we have one more angle of that. It is wide right.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, a 60-yard field goal is a 50-50 ball for most kickers in the NFL. I would say Aubrey is probably 75% chance of making it, but it's just such a difficult kick because it's so far away. Like, guys can hit it when they're just out hitting off the sticks, or we're just doing an operation, just the three of us. Most of the guys have the leg strength to make it there, but when it comes to like a real life situation, the trajectory changes when you have the offense and defensive lines in there. Like, these guys are massive. And so you have to hit a lower penetrating ball to get that distance. And you see a lot of times guys deflect it, or they try to put too much into it and they, hook it or whatever. And it's just such a difficult kick to make. Anything over 55 yards is what I would call a 50-50 ball, where you're going to make half, you're going to miss half. And that's just the nature of the beast, especially when you're playing outside. Inside maybe you're 60-40, but still there's so many things that go into it that it's a difficult kick to make anyway.